Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, so then let's start. Yeah, I think today's our webinar topic, which is driving the renewable energy transition, and then what are the current rare earth industry development and who are the key stakeholders, and then the opportunities with the primary and secondary resources. Yeah, I have a few slides. I mean, I'll take like about 5 minutes to go through these slides, highlighting a few key things. Then our speakers can deliver their talks on specified topics. Okay, so then firstly, I mean, yeah, we are going to talk about the lanthanides and a couple of other D block elements. So these are known as rare earth elements. And I hope you can remember these elements from your high school chemistry lessons, and then the work on your project, and then the other research studies. So then the first question is, are these things rare? I think we can say rare perhaps for promethium, which is a radioactive element. And in addition, it doesn't occur typically in nature. But other than that, the other rare earth elements, including yttrium and scandium, so these are not rare in nature. So then why do we call these rare elements? Mainly because it is pretty difficult for us to find these elements in high concentrations in our mining terms as resources and reserves. Then the other aspect is these are categorized as light rare earth elements and heavy rare earth elements. Typically, the heavier ones are more expensive or more valuable. And why we need those? Mainly to drive the renewable energy developments and the electromobility. Okay, so then I'd be tempted to, give you some numbers, especially considering the electric cars, because I like that sector as well. So if we, so based on the International Energy Agency latest data, so they say that in 2021, on the roads, we have about 16.5 million cars. So if you see that part, then I think China contributes to 50% of those cars. And compared to the 2012 numbers, so 120,000 EV sales. So these are significant developments. So in other words, 10% of the car sales in 2021. So those were electric. So that is a significant number. Yes, so China, okay, they are leading the electric vehicles, but I would like to discuss about Europe a couple of slides later. I just came back from Beijing last week, and then this was my first trip after the pandemic, or after 4 years. So this time I saw many electric car models on Beijing roads. So no surprise, because now we have 5 times more, or about 450 electric car models, and specifically about 300 electric car models in China. So this one is a BYD Song, and this one is, I don't know if the pronunciation is correct or not, it's a HIFI X model, a fully electric car model. In addition, here you can see a couple of Tesla models as well. So then the other thing is, so this is not very related, but in addition to the electric cars, so there are many electric scooters on Beijing streets as well. So then, yes, China, by selling more than 3 million cars in 2021, they contribute to this sector. But other than China, so the Europe, they have the large electric vehicle penetration rates. In terms of the numbers, so in Germany, okay, they lead the race. Then in terms of the market share of new electric vehicles, so that number is about 86% in Norway. So in 2021, in Europe, electric car sales, so that number was more than 2 million, about 2.7 million or 2.3 million. In addition to Europe, so then the next market, or the next highest market, which is the USA, with about 600,000 electric cars in 2021. Okay, so these developments are quite good, and these developments drive the rare earth industry. Why? If we consider like full electric cars, in order to make these cars, okay, don't forget the battery materials, but here we talk about the rare earth elements. In terms of rare earth elements, we need a couple of kilograms of rare earth elements for both battery electric vehicles and the hybrid versions. Yes, there are some developments, especially in the Europes, to change the permanent magnet-based electric vehicles to the other versions. However, still the car manufacturers prefer the permanent rare earth-based, permanent magnets-driven traction motors for electric cars. So that is the current status, and that is why the rare earth elements are important, and that is why we are discussing these things and their diversifications. Okay, so in terms of the rare earth elements, we have to discuss three things. Firstly, the resources, and the second thing is a mine production, and the final one is rare earth products and their production or the value-added products. Yeah, so then there are many countries who possess rare earth resources or reserves. But in terms of the mine production, China produced like 58%, and even US with their mountain pass deposit, they produce significant amount of rare earth concentrate. And additionally, Australia, Myanmar, they contribute to the rare earth mine production. But the problem is that most of the mine productions flow to China for the rare earth purification and the separation, which is high-tech and complex. In addition, some people complain it generates quite a lot of waste materials. Okay, so because of these reasons, there are two main rock types are used for rare earths, which are carbonatite rocks and the iron adsorption clays, especially in the southern China and in Myanmar. In terms of minerals, there are three minerals, bastnasite, monazite, and xenotime. So which means despite having more than 250 rare earth elements, we only use like three minerals for the current rare earth production. Okay, so then I mentioned you that, so China produced more than 85% of the rare earth products. In additionally, the US rare earth concentrates flow to China for the purification, which is the same case in the Myanmar, which is next to the Yunnan border in southern China. Despite the political instability in the Myanmar and some of the rare earth mining operations in the southern China are closed, so most of the rare earth concentrates in Myanmar, which are heavy rare earth concentrates, flow to China for the processing. So these are the official rare earth imports from Myanmar, from the Chinese Customs Statistics website. And that amount is quite significant. For example, in 2020, Myanmar produces or contributed to 40% of the heavy rare earth elements, which are the expensive ones. Okay, so I think this is my last slide. Then, yes, people discuss about the renewable energy, but then they used to criticize the mining as well, saying that the mining is a dirty business. Yeah, so that is, okay, we are not going to discuss about that thing, but it is pretty difficult to discuss renewable energy and the electromobility without mining. Okay, I hope you agree for that statement. Yes, especially the iron adsorption type deposits in southern China, specifically in Guangzhou, in Jiangxi. Yeah, so which are very important. If I'm not mistaken, they contributed to 50-60% of the heavy rare earth elements, not in China, in the world. because of the easy extraction methods, environmental pollution happened in Jiangxi, southern China. Then even the Chinese government, they decided to shut down some of the operations starting from 2021. So as far as I know, some of the operations are still closed in order to assess the environmental impact because of the iron adsorption, clay type, rare earth mining. So therefore, we have to understand that it is not easy to develop or process rare earth elements. Yes, some of the rare earth mining cause environmental impact, and processing is restricted to a certain region, and that is why we are talking about the rare earth diversification in the other parts in order to drive them as critical metals for the renewable energy and the electromobility. Yeah, so that's it from my end. And firstly, I would like to thank the speakers who invited, who accepted my invitation. Firstly, Dr. Nabil Mancheri, who is the Secretary General of the Rare Earth Industry Association in Belgium, and which is the only rare earth industrial body outside China, who is our first speaker. And secondly, Dr. Baram, who is one of our editorial board members of the journal. And he's the former scientist and the chief scientist and head of the geochemistry division, National Geophysical Research Institute in India. In addition, my colleague, Nimila Tushanta from Department of Applied Earth Science, UOLAS University. And thank you everyone for joining here today to share your insight about the rare earth industry, new developments. And firstly, Nabil, this is your opportunity, and please share your insight on rare earth elements. In addition, the role of the REIA in terms of diversifying the rare earth outside China. Thank you.